All right, welcome to today's episode. We have Molly Armando, who was born and raised in Dartmouth, Massachusetts, together with her husband, John. She resides with her two young sons, Charlie and Graham, as well as their beloved chocolate lab, Emma. She has a strong foundation in digital marketing, client success, and social media, and that helped her discover her natural affinity for real estate. Initially engaging in real estate on a part-time basis, she soon made that bold decision, like we all do, to depart from the corporate world and fully pursue her passion as a full-time real estate agent. She takes immense pride in serving both buyers and sellers, specializing in residential, commercial, and land sales. So we are so excited to have Molly here today. Molly, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. This is so fun.
Yes, awesome. So Molly, I want you to tell listeners a little bit about your background and how you did in your first year in real estate.
Sure. Well, first, thank you so much for having me. And I hope that everyone can take away at least one little nugget, something that will help them in their business. So my story is really important. My background is really important to how I got here. So I was in the corporate world for 13 years, and I've always had some sort of sales element to my job. So my last company, it was a very demanding technical digital marketing job, and I worked with some of the top marketing CFOs in the retail space. I was at 130% to my goal, and I got a calendar invite from my boss, and she said, per the conversations that we had on this date, this date, this date, and they were all made up dates. And I was just like shocked. And then she said, we're not sure if you have something personal going on at home. We know you have two young kids, so we're not sure if that's impacting your work performance. And like this was in 2022, in the middle of COVID. And I've always been super really hard worker, and I never let my kids impact anything. And so it was devastating for someone who really put their heart and soul into their work. And so long story short, I got out of that situation. I had to hire a lawyer. It was lots of sleepless nights. And I just kind of woke up and realized that I can't keep doing this anymore. I gave my whole entire life to a company that didn't care about me as a person. I was just a number. I was a salary. And that's all they cared about. So I was kind of at this really pivotal moment in my life where I knew that I needed to make a change. And I had my real estate license since 2018. And I would take the train up to Boston, and I would listen to Bigger Pockets real estate podcast. And I just became obsessed with real estate investing, and the fact that someone could become independently wealthy from real estate, I'm not much of a reader. Like I have focus issues. I recently found out I have severe ADHD. So sitting down and focusing is really hard for me. But when it came to real estate, it was something I was just sucked into. And so, I've had my license since 2018, just in case my husband and I wanted to buy any properties. But really, I made the move and in April of 2022 to go full time into real estate. And from there, I gave it, really 1,000%. And it's been, I will never go back to anything else.
So this is the best part for you guys listening, especially all the real estate agents out there. She's going to tell you she did not do it through cold calling. She hates cold calling. So how many transactions did you close your first year in real estate?
I don't remember the exact number. I think it was 33. So in the end of 2022, so I spent a lot of time getting my systems in place, my marketing, figuring out what made me different from all of the other agents that were out there that are in my community. So I did a lot of soul searching, but really just spent a lot of time getting all of my systems in place, making sure that I had a legitimate bio in my Zillow profile, making sure I had a Yelp page. I don't know if anyone goes on Yelp, but the more places you appear, the better. And so I really just spent a lot of time digitally making sure that I had a presence in a lot of places. So the first year, I think I closed 5 or 6 million. And then the second year, this is last year, 2023, I had 33 transactions and closed $17 million.
Which is awesome. That's great. And I want to talk a little bit about when you talked about the digital presence, because your digital marketing background really is what kind of helped catalyst. And I know a lot of our listeners want to know exactly kind of some of the specific things you did. But I love how you talked about making sure you had a bio everywhere. Even if you're like, when you said, I'm not sure if they go on there, you are making yourself searchable. So it is important, even though, you may not be buying leads on Zillow. We're not suggesting that, or we're not suggesting that you sign up and are in these certain lead programs, but that you do have a presence in all of them, especially Google. People forget about a Google business profile. Where's the number one place people go to search for something? They go to Google. So if you have a Google profile that's updated with all of your bio and keywords, you will come up in the search when they're looking for an agent in your area. So I do think that's a good start, is to make sure you do have a digital footprint, even though you may not be buying something on that platform, but having your bio there so you are showing up when someone's searching for your area, your name, real estate, you will start to pop up in those searches. So I think that's really important.
It definitely, yes. And I can, I ask every single person, every single client, even if I'm helping someone with a rental, I ask them to leave me a review. And everyone happily does it. If it's a husband and wife and I help both of them, I say, hey, look, if you guys both fill out this review, I'll send you a little thank you in the mail. And I use a company called Send Out Cards. And basically you guys have probably talked about this in the past, but you just plug in their info and you can send like a $10 gift card or Starbucks or whatever it is. It's super, super simple. If you have an admin, it's a really easy task they would be able to do. But it's just, no one gets mail anymore. So it's nice to be able to open something and get a little present. They also have brownies too, which are actually pretty good.
Yeah, I love that. And Send Out, I believe that they make it look almost like you've handwritten it yourself. Like you could type everything in and you can pick those options.
Yeah. I just do like a printed one, which is fine. But it's all on brand with me. So I have like a front, a cover. It's all on brand, which is important.
I love that. Now let's talk about really quick, where do you post your reviews? When you ask them for the reviews, where are you having them post? Where are you posting them or having them post them?
So the biggest focus for me is Google. At one point, I was trying to have people do it in 3 different places, like Yelp and Zillow and, all these other places, not Zillow, Yelp, Google, and Facebook as well. So I primarily just do Google and Facebook. And every once in a while, I'll reshare it as an Instagram story. But
yeah,
pretty
and the Google, again, is a great option because they will always promote content that's on their site first. So if you're having people put up Google reviews of you, you are going to get a much better chance of it being searchable and featured because they're going to put their content first before they're going to put Zillow's or Realtor.com or wherever else you might be having them. So those are really great. Now let's talk about your digital marketing. What are some places that you advertise? What are some of your favorite platforms that you're putting content on?
So, Google, we already touched upon that a little bit. The reviews, that's one component. But if you search Molly Armando Southcoast, you'll probably be able to find my Google page. And you'll see that I spend time updating different parts of my Google page. So every time I have a new listing, I try to put it as an update on the business. So it has all of the descriptions, all the information. All of those keywords are going to keep getting picked up by Google. And I also add in every just sold property as a product. So you can I have it categorized by Rhode Island transactions. I have it categorized by Massachusetts transactions. And then I also have it for some of the areas that I do a lot of business in, I have it broken down into different towns. So aside from and adding photos, it's an algorithm, right? So obviously it's not going to get picked up if you're not doing anything or not spending any time on it. But I guess my point is it's not just the reviews, but focusing on the other components and really making sure that you're maximizing the tools that you have access to on your Google business page.
I want to tell you, one of the reasons why I joined and I just love Canzel is that I can get 100% commission, I get revenue share, and I get stock. I am making thousands of dollars every single month in revenue share and stocks. And I now don't have to work nights and weekends on real estate anymore. You know, I've actually never been to a real estate agent's retirement party, and I want to be the first one that people are coming to at a young age. And I want to share with you some of my favorite resources. So if you go to joincanzel.com/free, there's a couple that I want you to download. One is a 20 free lead generating PDF. It's going to help you generate leads for free that you can download, as well as there's one on how to double your business. I don't want you to miss it. Go download it today. joincanzel.com/free. So on your Google business page, are you adding those listings and just solds as posts on your Google business page, or are you putting them somewhere in your profile?
So it's as an update. So I don't know how it comes. Yeah, so I don't know how it shows up on the viewer side, but it's an update and a product is what I'm doing.
Got it. Perfect.
Yeah.
What about social? Yeah.
Social, I pretty much, I really, when I was getting started, I spent a lot of time with Instagram. And if you go to my Instagram, it's _Southcoast_realtor. Just a lot of videos, a lot of, I wanted people to get to know me and kind of just my personality and who I am. And so, yeah, I spent a lot of time, and I still do. Instagram is definitely one of my favorites. But as I've gotten busier, it's harder to find time to really, really stay on top of it as much as, I still try to post videos of myself as often as I can, but Instagram, Facebook, I post on LinkedIn. I have done TikTok before. I had one video that went viral on TikTok. I had like millions and millions of views.
Oh gosh, what kind of video was it?
Oh, it was, I was viewing a house, and I said, like, we were going down the basement stairs, and I said, there was like a hole, almost looked like a tube, like a vent of like a dryer or something. And I said, I was like walking down showing like, what do you think this is? And then I got down to the bottom of the stairs, and it was a can chute. So they would put all their beer cans down like at the top of the stairs, and it would just fall into the trash can. And so I was just kind of making a joke out of it. And I don't think that helped my real estate business in any way, but
it did give you some exposure. Yeah.
My 10-year-old niece and nephew thought it was cool. So
yes. Now, what kind of content are you posting when you're doing a video? Are you giving information? Are you giving like a market update? Are you doing just viewing a property? What are you posting on in the video?
It's all of the above. So I try not to. I try not to just keep it the same. I always like to switch it up. Sometimes I am not organized enough right now where I have a marketing calendar. It's just if something pops into my head and I think, oh, that would be interesting to share, I share it when I have a minute. But yeah, most of the time, if I can reuse any content that my videographer has created, like a drone shot or something, that's a really easy way to kind of get some exposure and get some views and shares. So that I'll do all day long. But yeah, usually if it's like something funny I just saw, I'll do a quick little video of myself and post it just so people see that I'm not, just a static person behind the screen. I have a personality, I have a life, and yeah, so this is me.
I love that. And I love reusing the content. So, if you've already spent money on a listing to have like a drone footage done or professional video or professional pictures done, just reusing that over and over again, maybe using it in a market update and just voicing over it is really easy, because a lot of people are like, well, I don't want to be on camera. I don't look good today, or I don't like the way I'm feeling. You don't always have to be yourself on camera. You can use footage that you've already got and do a voiceover of it or do a market update using that footage of your market. So that's a great idea too. Now, one thing that you did a really great job of was YouTube, and you have a YouTube channel and putting content on that. Tell us a little bit about how you even got that started, because someone may be thinking, well, I'd love to start a YouTube channel, but I don't know where to begin. And what type of information are you putting on that?
Yeah. So for anyone who is thinking, oh, it doesn't work, rolling their eyes at it, like, I am living proof that I have gotten transactions from it. I had an old broker who I told him I was going to start a YouTube channel, and he rolled his eyes at me. So, it's not for everyone, right? I get that. But times are changing, and it is. I actually had someone call me yesterday that found me on YouTube. She was looking for a rental, and it's not my ideal client. I'll try and help her, but what she said was really, really powerful. The benefit to YouTube is that someone gets to know me as a person even before I have an initial conversation with them. So she knew that I like to take my dogs for walks in the local trails. She knew that, one of my favorite restaurants is down the street, the local fish spot. I mean, she knew I had 2 young kids. So it's a really, really good way to show people who you are without taking a lot of time. Yes, it is time, and you do invest in it. But the good thing about YouTube is that once you put it up there, it's going to stay there. So it's not like Instagram where you have to keep posting content over and over and over again to stay on top of the feed. If you search certain things in my area, I am the person that comes up. I had someone, I live on a main street, and I had someone who walked by, and she said, are you Molly? And I said, yeah. And she said, I've been following you on YouTube. We just moved to the area, and I didn't use you because she gave this whole explanation, which doesn't matter to me at all. Like, the fact is that somebody found me and I was helpful to them, right? And I think that's one of the hard things about searching for a town or a place to live. You can go on Wikipedia and read the local beaches here. This is what you can do, but it's much different to have a local person explaining it all to you. And it doesn't have to be, this like professional quality video. I've recorded everything in my office, and, you get a little bit better as you go, but you just have to start somewhere. And even if it's just you talking about a recent transaction that you did, or, whatever it may be, pick a topic. Obviously, topics that are relevant to different towns and around you are going to be good in terms of SEO. So top 5 things to do in X. My favorite food places, my favorite restaurants in X. If here are 5 reasons that you want to escape the city to live in X. And I think you can't think of it as a whole big, sorry, my dog just bumped into the camera. You can't think of this as like a whole big daunting thing. You just have to take one step at a time. Post one video, and then you'll get better. You'll learn something, and then post another. And that's,
yeah. So I have your YouTube channel here for those who are watching this, and what I want to do is just kind of show a little bit of the content. So, reshare this real quick. It's not scrolling. So basically, just because people are saying, okay, what should I do? And this is great. And if you actually look at her content, it is a lot of like best beaches to visit on the south coast of Massachusetts. What's happening in my neighborhood? And that's how your client found you, is because she was probably searching, best restaurants. We're new to the area, or we're moving to the area, and they're searching things to do. And your content on here is a lot of about the area, whether it doesn't have to necessarily be market updates, but it can be videos where you might just be going around and looking at restaurants in a town or things to do. And that's when people search that. They watch YouTube videos to see the area, and then they're finding you. So I think people kind of need to understand it doesn't have to be you're only videoing a listing, you're only videoing a market update. A lot of just like neighborhood videos, what to do, is going to put you in a search range that people will find you when they're looking in your area.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can buy one of the, I forget what they're called, the where you put your phone in and it stays level. Oh God, what's it called? I don't know, but yeah, gimbal, yes, gimbal, and that, just take that to a local spot. And it, like I said, it does not have to be perfect by any means. No one's videos are perfect, and so I started editing videos myself. So I taught myself how to do some basic editing, which at the time, when I had more time, it was fine. Sure, I made a little intro. I learned how to do certain things. And then as I got better, I realized that I need to outsource this. So I've been using a company called VidChops to help get all of my videos edited. You kind of send them all of the material up front, like, if you have certain branding or imagery or whatever for like an intro. And then after that, you just send them the raw footage, and then they take it from there. So but the thing is trying to stay on top of it and being consistent with it. So I need to do a better job of staying on it, because last year I closed 3 deals from YouTube. And I mean, I have a lot of leads that I have received from YouTube. One is they're looking at $3 million houses in Newport.
Yeah.
So, it's and it's something that is continuous, right? I like I said, I don't have to keep updating it on a daily basis.
Right. And our agents, our Kanzel agents know, and if they want to do any of these types of neighborhood videos, all they have to do is with their camera, take the video and just record like a audio, and then they can send it to our admin team, admin@kanzel.com, and they'll actually create those same videos like you're doing. We have a videographer on staff, and they'll create those. And then if you're not with Kanzel, we do have virtual admin that do all of our video editing that we can either set blocks of time with that you can buy, or we can help you get an admin like that. So yeah, there's great programs out there like your Video Chops. There's different ones. If you look up, it's real easy. You can give a video, tell it to cut here, and they'll send you back a completed project. Or you can actually hire video editors virtually for a pretty good cheap price too. So it is not hard to get a video edited these days. So if you're like, oh, well, I can take the video, but then I have no idea how to edit it, you don't have to. There's programs out there. Your companies will sometimes do it for you. So there's lots of options to get those videos so that you can get them up on either like a YouTube channel or socials. How did you get?
Sorry,
go ahead.
Add on to that. I would say, do a couple quick searches and save some real estate agents that you feel like you mesh well with, right? Maybe I've seen a bunch that are super salesy and just not my style at all, and kind of just try and tweak what they're doing. You're not going to be copying them, because you're obviously going to be living in a separate area, but pick up little things, see how they're doing their header and their photo,
right?
What their description looks like, what links they have. So find 2 to 3 people that you would like to emulate and do what they do.
Yeah, get ideas. Don't reinvent the wheel. Just go see what they're doing, see the topic, see how they're doing it, and then you do it in your own style and for your area. Yeah. Awesome. Well, before we run out of time, because it'll be here before we know it, I want to talk about groups. So the other way you've gotten some of your business is creating different groups, and they aren't necessarily a real estate group. Talk a little bit about the groups you've created and how you've gotten some business from those.
Yeah, so I never want to come off as salesy, right? I'm never going to force someone to buy a house. I'm never going to force anyone to sell a house. But what I will do is act as a consultant and help them to make the most educated guess or the most educated decision possible. So that's kind of how I think of networking. And I never want to come off as, hey, did you know I'm a real estate agent? But people see my name and it comes up, and then they think, oh yeah, she's an agent. So I created a moms group in our area. And this, when I created it, it was in no way related to real estate. It was just the fact that my community had a void and there weren't enough moms connected to one another. I have 2 really young kids. There's not really a ton to do for kids, or there wasn't at the time. And so I created this moms group, started as a Facebook page. And now it's kind of grown into something more than that. I mean, we have events all the time, and we had to change the name to Parents and Caregivers. So it's not just moms, it's a parent group, and we share things to do, things not to do. Have you guys heard of this? That sort of thing. And just through that, by people seeing my name and being out about in the community, people, I get referrals from that. But I never have, host an event sponsored by Molly Armando. It's nothing like that. It's just getting out and having people, see your name and being a recognizable person. So I started that one. And then I also started a Facebook group called Lady Landlords in my area, because there's, I'm near 2 cities that have a lot of multifamily properties. A lot of investors in the area are, predominantly male. And so I wanted to create a support system for people who were women specifically, who were getting started in real estate, needed help with investing. I wish that something like that existed when I was getting started. Thank goodness I had podcasts to listen to, but there's no one in my area that did that. And so, I'm not going down people's throats saying, use me as an agent, but I will be a support to them, and I will help them through the whole process. And if they refer me to one of their friends down the road, that's great. That's all, it's a win-win for everyone. But so that's my kind of not salesy tactic.
Yeah, and they will. And I love that, like finding your niche. So if you work with a certain type of seller or a certain type of buyer, or a certain type of investor, that is such a great idea. Like the Lady Landlords group on Facebook, because people are looking for community that shares ideas, where they can gain knowledge, not feel like they're in a pressured environment, but they're seeing, okay, wow, Molly's very knowledgeable in this. And if I'm thinking about, investing, or I'm thinking about, I want to buy my first rental property, or I want to get into this, then you're now an expert in that. They'll come to you. Or if they hear one of their friends talking about it at the gym or wherever they might be, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, you got to get in this group. Molly's fantastic. She gives us tons of information. And it is a great way to be able to do that. So I think just realizing, who do you work with? Like, who is your avatar? Like, who is your client? Who are you most kind of successful in closing and working with? And then creating a group where you just invite people in it, and you're just constantly giving them deposits. Because when you're ready to make a withdrawal, they're easily going to be willing to give you a referral or business themselves, because you've given so much to them. I think that's such a great idea for our listeners. Well, awesome. Well, Molly, this has went by so fast, and I want you to tell our listeners how they can find you.
Yep. I think the best way is probably Instagram. Like I said before, it's _Southcoast Realtor. You can also go to www.mollyarmando.com and contact me there. I am on Facebook. So, there's a bunch of different ways, but those are probably the top ones.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Molly. Everyone show Molly some love in the chat. We really appreciate you today. And that was awesome.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a rating and a review so we can get this out to more agents. And tune in next week for another power-packed episode. This is the Millionaire Real Estate Podcast.